Hello and welcome to another video. In this one we're talking about /temp and /var/temp on Linux machines, and while they're not particularly specified, I want to talk about the differences that are specified and why I ran into this in the first place. So, as many of you may know, the system that I usually record videos from and stream from runs an LTS version of Ubuntu. Currently 2404, but I'm in the process of upgrading to, oh yeah, and I haven't run my Puppet yet, so it times out the screens over there. I'm in the process of upgrading to 2604, and I've started upgrading some of my systems already to 2604, and I noticed an interesting thing, which is if I had some code that was creating some files in a temporary directory and then hard linking them to a cache directory. The thought being that a hard link is an optimization over a copy because it can sort of save some file system operations and some disk I/O. That stopped working. So for instance, if I touch some file in a temporary directory and I try and hard link from that to our current working directory, so hard link here, I started getting this error where you cannot create a hard link from a cross-device link. And I was like, what? Why? It works over here if we touch temp wat and hard link from wat to wat2. / is not necessary. This works fine. And so this wat2 and temp wat are the same inode on disk. They're the exact same file, and it worked fine in 2404. And so I was like, wait a minute, why did it stop working here? And I noticed that by looking at my df-h disk free space, yeah. I noticed that temp in 2604 is now a tempfs. This is a file system type that's usually backed by memory, and so it tends to be a lot faster. But now you'll notice that these are two separate devices, and so you can't have the same inode. I mean, if you have two separate devices, your inode is not going to be the same. And so, yeah, so new device here. And so that made me think, okay, well, what's the difference between temp and var temp? Like, why are they set up differently? And how do I go about using the other one instead of the one I wanted? Because var temp, you'll notice there's no prefix here for var, so var temp is also going to be on this same dev sda2 block device for file system here. So I can actually do that hard link thing here. I'm actually going to delete this because otherwise I'm going to forget about it later. Don't want a random wat2 file sitting in my home directory. So I went to look up what the differences are, and there are two main specification documents that are relevant here. One is the POSIX standard, and the other is the FHS, the file system hierarchy standard. POSIX doesn't actually say anything about var temp, but it does mention temp, but it's fairly vague here. It just says it's a directory that you can put temporary files in. Don't assume that they'll be preserved, and doesn't really elaborate beyond that. This is most of what POSIX talks about with temp. The file system hierarchy standard adds a little more color here and mentions, oops, wrong click there, mentions that the temporary directory may be deleted in a site-specific manner, but recommends deleting it every time the system is rebooted. So essentially, /temp should start empty and nothing should be preserved between a system reboot. On the other hand, the file system hierarchy standard does mention var temp and also mentions that it probably, or that it must not be deleted when the system is booted. So files inside this directory should be persisted between reboots. And that's all that's really specified. Now, I did also wonder, why did this change in 2604? And my understanding is this is now var lib systemd. Where is this thing live? Okay, I don't remember exactly where it is, but there is now a systemd service that runs on boot that I guess I could do systemctl grep temp? No. How do I get the list of units? This should have gotten it for me. Maybe it doesn't output this when I guess I could probably go to this and search for temp. Is it TMP? Oh, it's TMP. Yeah, so there's this new tmp.mount systemd service, and from doing a little bit of searching, this was added in Ubuntu 25.10, I think, which is why I am just now seeing it as I upgrade to a new long-term support LTS version of Ubuntu. Anyway, that was what I want to cover for today. Difference between temp and var temp. Var temp is supposed to be persisted, and so it makes sense that temp could be a memory file system, and why it was changed between 2404 and 2604. Hopefully you found this useful. If there's additional things you would like me to explain, leave a comment below or reach out to me on the various platforms. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.